The Glock pistol is arguably the most successful modern handgun design in human history. It is the gold standard for military forces, law enforcement agencies, and defensive shooters across the globe. And it earned that legendary reputation based on one single, non-negotiable trait. It always goes bang. It does not matter if it is caked in mud, bone dry, freezing cold, or choked with carbon. When you pull that factory trigger, a stock Glock cycles. It is a tool. It is an industrial brick designed for combat. But over the last decade, a massive trend has taken over the firearms community. We call it the Gucci Glock phenomenon. Everywhere you look on social media, shooters are showing off heavily customized Glocks. They are cutting massive windows into the slides, swapping out every internal spring, dropping in gold-plated match-grade barrels, and installing feather-light competitive triggers. People are spending $2,000, $3,000, or even $4,000 modifying a $500 handgun. And I'm going to be completely straight with you. The vast majority of these Gucci Glocks are absolute garbage when it comes to real-world defensive reliability. In the pursuit of looking cool on Instagram or shaving a fraction of an ounce off a trigger pull, people are systematically destroying the exact engineering choices that made the Glock a lifesaver in the first place. If you think throwing a bunch of expensive aftermarket parts into your carry gun makes it a superior defensive weapon, you need to stick around. We are going to break down the exact physics, the mechanical timing, and the engineering realities of why the Gucci Glock trend is turning dependable combat tools into unreliable range toys. Point 1. Slide mass and cycle timing. The danger of window cuts and lightweight slides. Let's cut straight to the part that actually matters, the physics of slide mass and mechanical timing. Gaston Glock and his team of engineers spent years calculating the exact weight of a Glock slide relative to the explosive force of a standard 9mm cartridge. The weight of that slide is a critical variable in a complex mathematical equation. It provides the necessary inertia to keep the breech locked long enough for chamber pressures to drop to a safe level, and it controls the velocity at which the slide cycles backward and slams forward. When people send their slides off to a machine shop to get aggressive window cuts, serrations, and optic pockets milled out, they are significantly reducing the mass of the slide. Sometimes they shave off 20, 30, or even 40% of the factory weight. Here is exactly how that ruins your gun. A lighter slide moves backward at a much higher velocity. On paper, people think this is great because it makes the gun feel snappier and faster. But in reality, it completely ruins the mechanical cycle timing. Because the slide is moving backward like a rocket, the magazine spring inside your grip frame does not have enough time to push the next heavy cartridge up into the feeding path before the slide slams back forward. The slide literally outruns the magazine. This leads to a catastrophic malfunction known as bolt over base, where the slide rides over the top of the cartridge rim and jams the bullet nose first into the feed ramp. Additionally, because the slide lacks mass, it loses its forward momentum when trying to strip a dirty or tight cartridge out of the magazine. It runs out of steam, causing a failure to return to battery. You are trading proven, balanced physics for cosmetic cutouts, and that trade will cause your gun to jam right when you need it to feed. Point 2. Match-grade barrel tolerances. The myth of tight chambers for self-defense. I am going to be blunt here. The factory Glock barrel is ugly. It has a loose, generous chamber, and it uses polygonal rifling instead of traditional land and groove rifling. But that loose chamber is exactly why a factory Glock will chamber almost any piece of garbage ammunition you feed it. Whether it is premium defense ammo, cheap steel-cased target rounds, or slightly out-of-spec reloads, the Glock eats it because the barrel tolerances are wide enough to accommodate variance and tolerate debris. When people build a Gucci Glock, one of the first things they do is drop in an expensive, shiny, aftermarket, match-grade barrel. These barrels are engineered for competition precision, meaning they have incredibly tight, match-spec chambers. They are designed to squeeze every microscopic millimeter of accuracy out of a bullet at 25 yards on a clean competition stage. But in a defensive encounter or a harsh training environment, those tight tolerances are a massive liability. It takes just a single microscopic grain of unburnt gunpowder, a small flake of carbon buildup, or a tiny speck of holster lint inside that tight match chamber to prevent a defensive round from seating completely. When the slide slams forward, the bullet gets stuck a fraction of a millimeter outside the chamber. The gun refuses to go into battery, the internal safeties stay engaged, and when you squeeze the trigger, nothing happens. A defensive handgun needs to be a garbage disposal, not a sensitive laboratory instrument. If your barrel requires pristine ammunition and a spotless gun to function, it does not belong in a real fight. Point 3. The T-spring balancing act. Trigger kits and light primer strikes. All right, let's look at the internal electronics of the mechanical system, the spring ecosystem. A Glock operates on a delicate balance of 3 primary springs: the recoil spring, the striker spring, and the trigger spring. These 3 components exist in a continuous state of mechanical tension against one another. When people buy a drop-in Gucci trigger kit to get rid of that mushy 5.5-pound factory Glock pull, the aftermarket companies achieve that crisp, light, 3-pound competition pull by changing the weight of these springs. Specifically, they include a reduced-weight striker spring. Here is the hidden danger of a light striker spring. The striker spring is the engine that drives the firing pin forward into the primer of the cartridge. Glock intentionally uses a heavy factory striker spring to guarantee that the firing pin hits the primer with massive, crushing force every single time. This ensures ignition even if you encounter a hard primer, common in military surplus or cheap-duty ammunition. When you install a lightweight aftermarket striker spring, you drastically reduce the kinetic energy of that firing pin strike. On a warm day at an indoor range, it might ignite soft target primers just fine. But when the temperature drops below freezing, or when you are forced to use duty ammunition with harder, sealed primers designed for combat, that light striker spring will result in a click instead of a bang. You get a light primer strike. To make matters worse, changing the balance of these internal springs can easily defeat the built-in drop safeties of the Glock frame, turning your once-safe carry piece into an accidental discharge hazard if you drop it on the concrete. Point 4. Compensators on factory springs. The energy deprivation trap. Now let's talk about the massive trend of screwing a compensator onto the end of a threaded barrel. Compensators look incredibly cool. They mimic the style of high-end competition race guns, and they work by redirecting the expanding gases from the gunpowder explosion upward through vertical ports. This downward gas pressure pushes the muzzle down, fighting muzzle flip and allowing you to keep your sights perfectly flat during rapid fire. But there is no free lunch in mechanical physics. A Glock slide relies heavily on the rearward pressure of those expanding gases to violently push the slide back and cycle the action. When you install a compensator, you are actively venting a massive percentage of that gas energy upward into the atmosphere before it can push the slide backward. If you leave the factory recoil spring assembly inside the gun while running a compensator with standard low-pressure target ammunition, the gun simply does not have enough remaining gas energy to drive the slide all the way to the rear. The slide short cycles. It travels backward just far enough to extract the empty brass, but it closes before it can pick up the next round from the magazine. Or worse, it catches the empty brass on the way back down, creating a classic stovepipe jam. To make a compensated Glock run reliably, you are forced to enter a never-ending cycle of tuning. You have to buy a multi-pack of different weighted recoil springs, dropping from a factory 16-pound spring down to a 12-pound or 11-pound spring. But guess what happens when you put an 11-pound recoil spring in your gun? Now the slide slams forward with very little force, meaning the slightest bit of friction or dirt will prevent the gun from closing completely. You have created a fragile ecosystem that only works with specific ammunition under specific conditions. That is the exact opposite of what a combat weapon should be. Point 5. Tolerance stacking. The Frankenstein gun nightmare. The final and most critical failure point of the Gucci Glock trend is a manufacturing concept called tolerance stacking. When Glock builds a pistol in Austria or Georgia, every single component is manufactured under one roof, using the exact same blueprints, overseen by the exact same quality control software. The slide, the barrel, the connector, the trigger bar, and the pins are all designed to harmonize with one another perfectly. When you build a Gucci Glock, you are creating a mechanical Frankenstein. You buy a slide from vendor A, a barrel from vendor B, a trigger assembly from vendor C, a magwell from vendor D, and an aftermarket frame parts kit from an anonymous store online. Each of these aftermarket manufacturers operates on their own individual blueprints and their own acceptable margins of error. Vendor A's slide might be a microscopic fraction of a millimeter too wide, while vendor B's barrel hood is a microscopic fraction of a millimeter too tall. Individually, each part is within spec for that specific company. But when you jam all these mismatched parts together into a single Glock frame, those tiny variances stack up on top of one another. This results in severe friction points, abnormal wear patterns, and mechanical binding along the frame rails. The gun might hand cycle smoothly when you rack it in your living room, but under the extreme heat, pressure, and distortion of live fire, the parts fight against each other. The gun slows down, binds up, and experiences random, unpredictable failures that cannot be easily diagnosed. You have spent thousands of dollars to take a flawless engineering masterpiece and turn it into a mechanical guessing game. When you choose a firearm that you intend to carry to protect your life, your spouse, or your children, your priorities must be crystal clear. Instagram aesthetics, gold-plated accents, and lightweight competition triggers are fantastic for a recreational range gun or a competitive match where a jam simply means a slower score. But in a real, life-or-death defensive encounter, the only thing that matters is unconditional, boring reliability. If you want to upgrade your factory Glock, my expert advice is to change exactly 3 things. Put high-quality, durable steel night sights on it. Stick a reputable, high-output weapon light on the rail, and paste some grip tape or get a clean stipple job on the frame to keep the gun locked in your hand when sweaty or bloody. Leave the internal springs alone. Leave the factory slide alone. Keep the original barrel inside the slide. Glock spent millions of dollars perfecting the engineering so that you could trust it with your life. Do not let a social media trend trick you into replacing life-saving perfection with expensive, unreliable hype. Take a look at your current setup right now. Is your defensive tool completely stock and ready for war? Or have you customized it to the point where you secretly worry about a light primer strike or a stovepipe jam? Let me know down in the comments exactly what modifications you have done to your Glock, and if you have ever run into tolerance stacking issues at the range. If this raw, unfiltered mechanical breakdown saved you from destroying your carry gun, do me a solid. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more straight-shooting tactical talk, and share this video with a buddy who is currently building a Gucci project car on his waist. Stay safe, train hard, and I'll see you on the next one.